bring a song from your imagination into reality. For my latest project, I used AI to do exactly that, and it turned out better than I ever could have imagined. Maybe the reason I love time travel so much is because I've spent so much of my life living in the future. There's this tool I really love called Strength Finders. Well, the Strength Finder assessment, if you've never heard of it, it's worth checking out. Imagine Myers-Briggs or Enneagram or any other sort of assessment. That's basically what Strength Finders is, except this one helps you to identify your natural aptitude and your gifts, because if you understand your top abilities, then you can better understand what drives you and how you can better work with other people. A tool like this is especially helpful if you want to collaborate with a lot of other people like I do, because it shows you what the best practices are for different strengths and different personalities. And if you understand how to do that, then you know how to leverage the collective strengths and make 1 + 1 = 11, which is something I love to say. As cheesy as it is, I find in my life that it's a very true formula. So for me, my top 3 strengths are ideas, future, and communication. That means I'm hardwired to think ahead, to see possibilities, to come up with new concepts, and share them with the world. Living in the future has always shaped the way I tell stories. It's not just about imagining what could be, it's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible. For years, I've been able to produce a book, or even sometimes more, in 1 month. And that used to be something that was truly special. Unique to me and a few others out there who could consistently do this. But now with AI, that ability and that speed is accessible to everyone. That's great. I love it when a tool makes something accessible to everyone. But it really got me thinking, if speed is no longer the goal, how much better can I make my art? What new storytelling frontiers can I explore? That's where the John Titor LP came in. It started as an idea and turned into a story, and then became something so much better than I ever could have imagined before starting it. In the book, I Am John Titor, one character, I guess the main character, has to prove that he's from the future. And he does this by finishing a song that's in another character's head before she finishes it. And yes, this is essentially cribbed from Back to the Future when Marty is telling Doc about the flux capacitor, because the Doc just fell on the toilet that morning. So this is in his head, because if you're going to crib, you have to crib from the best when it comes to time travel. And that was a really great device. So while trying to think of new ways to explore story, especially as I was coming here to YouTube and wanting to share in new different ways, and video was a medium, or at least music, I thought, what if I took that song Times River and made it real? Maybe I could do a lyric video with it, maybe just the audio. I wasn't sure, I just knew it was a thread that I wanted to start pulling. I'd never done anything like this before, unless I go all the way back to high school when I was writing songs and fucking around with my 8-track in my room and my best friend Jimmy. I was really curious, especially considering the abundance of tools that are around right now that help people who are highly creative yet limited in certain skill sets play around. So I settled on a tool called Suno to help me bring the musical ideas in my head to life. Except at the time, there was only the one. It was just about getting Times River. But I loved the process so much. The results were great, but it was more the creativity that I went through on the way to getting those results that made me love the whole thing. And what started out as a single song quickly turned into something bigger. At first, as I tend to sometimes underestimate things, I thought this would be a cool little project, something that would take maybe a couple of hours. Instead, it turned into a 51-hour creative rabbit hole that became one of the most fulfilling creative projects I had all of last year. I started with Times River, but then I wanted to go deeper. The way John Titor is constructed, the book, there's many different eras and decades. So I wanted to do maybe 6 songs that explored those different time periods musically. But I ended up having so much fun, there ended up with 11 tracks instead. So there's 5 on each side, with one song called Backwards Forwards that kind of bisects the album thematically. And so again, it just turned into another creative project. The John Titor EP turned into the John Titor LP with 11 tracks total. And like I said, the process itself was amazing, exhilarating, really rewarding, and it didn't replace my creativity at all to use AI. Instead, it pushed me to iterate, which is one of my favorite things to do in any creative process. If the lyrics didn't work with the music, I rewrote them and rewrote them and rewrote them again. I just kept tweaking the words and experimenting until I found the right wall of sounds to support the language in my head. Using Suno reminded me of all the digital tools that already make my life as a storyteller possible. They don't replace the work, they make it better, faster, and more focused. I see AI the same way. It's a collaborator, not a substitute. I never want AI to outsource my thinking. I want it to augment my creativity, to help me access ideas and forms of expression I couldn't reach on my own. If I had been born in the manual typewriter days, I almost certainly would never have become a writer. But with the proper tools, I found my way. This is just another step forward, not an or, but an and for the way I make things. Throwing myself into what others might see as a silly little project, as usual, taught me a lot about myself as a storyteller. I've always felt like I was sort of born to write lyrics, but this felt like coming full circle back to those bedroom days and the days when I would make up abstract lyrics out loud while my best friend strummed his guitar. My favorite track on the John Titor LP is probably The Traveler. I love how that song turned out so much that I made a persona out of the artist so I could give them another song in the future. That persona's name is Psychographic, and I've already written another track specifically for them. I'll be sharing the full John Titor LP soon, and maybe someday we'll see a full album from Psycho themselves. But for right now, I'm just having fun. And this is just the beginning. I keep thinking of new ways to integrate music into the stories I'll be telling now and into the future, and I can't wait to explore them all. You don't need to be a professional musician or coder to experiment with AI. With the right tools, anyone can push their creativity into new territories. And as a creator, that's what we should all be striving to do. Not every reader will become a listener and connect with this idea, but the few who do, they will love it, and they'll love the work more because of it. And that means they'll probably love other things that I want to do and experiment with in the future, and that's what this creative journey is all about. Right now, considering how much fun I had with it, that's more than enough for me. The John Titor LP was a cool idea that turned into something better than I ever expected. It reminded me why I love to experiment, why I love to play with new ideas and mediums, and why storytelling will always be at the heart of what I do. Click the link below to grab the launch edition of I Am John Titor. You'll get the book for free this week, plus the exclusive John Titor LP and dossier, but only if you act fast. The fun extras and free book will disappear into the time stream soon, just like Titor himself. The best stories aren't just told, they're experienced. It's so exciting that we're just getting started on this adventure together. Can't wait for more. See you tomorrow.